Let me make the beginning. Friends, we are very happy this evening. We have Mahamandaleshwar Swami Abhishek Chaitanya Giriji from Rishikesh. He is not new to members of Hawaii Forum. In the last many years, he has on and off presented many a webinar under our banner. I happen to know him for last 35 years or so, and we were together in Chinmaya Mission before also. But as God's plans vary for every Jivatma, we have moved in different directions. Just last month, I had the good fortune of visiting Rishikesh, spending 2 days with him by the bank of Mother Gangaji. We have been in touch in many ways, in many of our Hawaii forums, retreats, and camps. He also spoke, he also taught some texts, even abroad. He has joined hands with us, sometimes to go attend a webinar or not webinar, seminar, conference in Italy, in USA. He has gone to certain places where I also have gone. So we have common friends, common students in several parts of the world. Apart from that, just to say a few more words, he is very devoted to Shastra Dhyana. He is very devoted to the Vedanta Shastra and heading a well-known mutt, Jagat Guru Sannyas Ashram in Rishikesh. He is making lots of services available to the society, the spiritual, in the field of spiritual teaching. Regular classes, offline and online, are held by the Jagat Guru Sannyas Ashram and in Hindi, in English, both. Over the years, he has increased his repertoire from Vedanta to Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and sometimes he comes out with something to say about a rare text about which many would not have heard also. That also shows his love for the scriptures of Sanatana Dharma. He loves to open a new book, study it, and share the thoughts with others. A wonderful person indeed. He is an asset to our society, and we are all so proud and happy about him. With these words, which I have spoken offhand without any preparation, without any proper planning, I heartily welcome Swami Abhishek Chaitanya Giriji, Mahamandaleshwar from Rishikesh. On behalf of all of you, I welcome him and request him to present his views on the topic of this evening. Om Namo Narayana.
Namo Narayan Swamiji. Thank you for those kind words. And though you said it was not well prepared, but you every time are very articulate, so that you don't require a preparation as such. And uh, my salutations to Puja Swamiji and Puja Vibhaji. We can begin this session with a prayer of invocation, and then we will come to the topic of discussion. Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhya Sarvopaplavarahitaha Prajnanakanaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. वेदांतार्थ विभासकाय गुरवे शांताय सन्यासिने नानावादी नगेन्द्र संघपवये योगीन्द्र वन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्त दिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने. A very good evening to all of you. Though the topic as what withholds the enlightenment seems to be quite intriguing, yet let me uh, you know not keep the mystery, the secret around it. To put it in simple words, and to quote the source of it, this is a chapter whose, though not synopsis, but some excerpts from the chapter called as Vāsanā Kshaya, from the book authored by Vidyaranya Swami, Jivanmukti, viveka. So whatever we are going to see today is mostly from this particular text and the chapter called as the Vāsanā Kshaya. Now we are very familiar with the term Jivanmukti. Though moksha is defined in Vedanta as the annihilation of ignorance, all the darshankaras unanimously agree on the definition of liberation, whether they are astika darshankaras or the nastika darshankaras. All of them have a unanimous opinion about this definition of moksha or liberation, which means total, absolute freedom from dukkham. Yet, how each darshana defines what this freedom is. In Vedanta, Shastra, we call it as freedom from ignorance. Freedom from ignorance. So, where the ignorance ends, now that there is no reason for any cycle of birth and death to continue, and therefore between the 2 points of birth and death, the incessant flow of dukkham, which comes as the garbha dukkham, janma dukkham, sanyoga dukkham, viyoga dukkham, jara dukkham, and mrityu dukkham. So one after another, dukkha is continuously present in more or less intensity. Just the change of dukkham does not mean freedom from dukkham. So viyoga dukkham may finish and sanyoga dukkham may begin. But that does not mean that the dukkham has ended. And therefore, the Shastra sees that, from birth, right, even before the birth, from the womb to the tomb, it is a continuous, incessant flow of suffering. And because the ignorance has ended, now there is no reason because of which the birth can take place, and consequently the dukkham can be, the suffering can be experienced. So thus, end of suffering takes place with the end of ignorance. And this then is called as the videha kaivalyam, this kaivalyam, absolute freedom. And this is recognized as a legitimate pursuit of life, as a purusharth. All the darshankaras, except for the charvakas, all, including the Bauddhas and the Jainas, all the four darshanas of the Bauddhas and the Jaina darshana, they also recognize liberation as a proper pursuit of human life. Just as you have the pursuit of pleasure, the pursuit of security, so also there is this pursuit of liberation. In fact, every pursuit in our life is nothing but an echo of this pursuit for freedom. When one is seeking, Puja Swami Dhananji also says it very, clearly, and that is that even when one is seeking security, one is actually seeking freedom from insecurity. When one is seeking pleasure, one is actually seeking freedom from that what is unpleasant. And therefore, in reality, what one truly is seeking is freedom. And this freedom is translated, is seen as moksha. And so the word mukti, moksha, all of both these words arrive from the same root, verbal root, much. So now that is about that once when the ignorance finishes and the present body is shed, the videha kaivalyam takes place. This is one opinion of some acharyas. That when does the videha kaivalyam takes place? No sooner the prarabdha finishes, since knowledge has already taken place, ignorance has ended, and so now there is videha kaivalyam, mukti is there. Yet there is something that is asked over here in the Shastras, and that is that after the ignorance has finished, and even before the prarabdha can finish, is there anything which can be closer? Is there a state of experience which can be called as being in proximity, being similar, equal to this videha kaivalyam, to this mukti? And therefore, the Shastra now gives you yet another word, and that is called as Jivanmukti, which means living, liberation whilst living. Jivanmukti. And we are not unfamiliar to this or strangers to this word called as Jivanmukti, because most of you who are here presently have somewhere or the other at least heard Bhagavan Bhashakara Shankaracharya's Bhajagovindam, where he says the word Jivan Mukti, Satsangatve, Nissangatvam, Nissangatve, Nishchalatatvam, Nishchalatatve, Jivan Mukti. So now that word is not totally unfamiliar to us. Furthermore, Vidyaranya Swami, who is one of the greatest stalwarts of Vedanta, in his work called as the Jivanmukti Viveka, now he says that Tatvajnana Manonasha Vasanakshayaha Tat Sadhanam. What is the sadhanam of Jivanmukti? Now we understand, for the Videha Kaivalyam, you require nothing but knowledge alone. Jnana Devatu Kaivalyam. So there is a smriti also that is available, which says that Jnana Devatu Kaivalyam. It is from knowledge alone that the Kaivalyam is attained. But when it comes to Jivan Mukti, wherein that the person is still living in the body, which means the prarabdha is yet not exhausted. And there now comes the question as will he be free from dukkham as much as he will be free from dukkham after the body is given up by the enlightened one. And so in affirmation, the Shastra says, yes, that is called as Jivanmukti. And the sadhanas, the means to attain this Jivanmukti are three: Tattvajnanam, Manonasha, and Vasanakshaya. Vasishtha Ramayana says, Vasanakshaya Vijnana Manonasha Mahamate Samakalam Chirabhyasta Bhavanti Phaladayinaha. So sage Vasishtha now tells Ramachandra, and he says in his Upadesha instruction, Hey Mahamati, oh great intelligent one, Mahamati, Vasanakshaya, Mano Vijnanam. Vijnana means the knowledge. Vasanakshaya means the gradual deterioration of the vasanas. And Manonasha, which means the practice of samadhi. All these three, now look at that. For Videha Kaivalyam, all that one required was only knowledge. Knowledge, which is knowledge free from every trace of doubt and every trace of contradiction. Samshaya viparyaya rahitam jnanam. That is all that was required. But when it comes to Jivanmukti, now here he says, Vasanakshaya vijnana manonasha mahamate samakalam chirabhyasta, and they have to be simultaneously practiced. One more condition associated with it is chirabhyasta. Now, we have done it for 3.5 days. We went for, a camp, and then 3.5 days we practiced knowledge, manonasha, vasanakshaya. No, chirabhyasta. And by that word chira, though the word chira means, actually it doesn't define length of time, but it simply says as much as time as it would take. Right? Chirabhyasta. Yet, let me give you a little concession. Because in one of the recent commentaries on the Yoga Sutra, where it is said, Satu Dirghakala Nairantarya Satkara Sevito Dradapumi. Dirghakala, that particular author over there, the commentator, says you can consider at least a period of 10 years. So now let us take that little concession in our, for our benefit over here. And let us say Chirabhyasta. Actually, it means as long as it takes. chirabhyasta bhavanti phaladayinaha. When these three are practiced for long and simultaneously, then they become fruitful. Bhavanti phaladayinaha iti Vasishta Ramayana. So now, out of these three, what we are going to look at is Vasana Kshaya. Because Vasana is that which knowingly, unknowingly is an impediment in your spiritual endeavor. It is that which is bound to create disturbance, ashanti, even for an enlightened one, if it is going to be there. And so, but Swamiji, will an enlightened one have vasanas? Yes. Even the one who is enlightened, he is free from vasanas. That freedom from vasanas, as much as it is required for knowledge to take place, has taken place in him. It is not like you and me. But he definitely has vasana akshaya, but it is not totally annihilated. And therefore, if there is any vasana as such, then it will also create some sort of a disturbance for him. But since his viveka is very powerful, he will be able to control the suffering through his viveka. But we are not talking about controlling the suffering, we are talking about not even experiencing its stress. And so now Vasana Kshaya over here is very important. Furthermore, so these vasanas have to be washed away, slowly, gradually destroyed. So, because that is what is actually also withholding your enlightenment. Knowledge really does not take time to take place. All that, any knowledge for that matter, why only Brahmajnana? Any knowledge will take place where there is pramana, prameya, vyavahar. Now let us say for a minute, let's understand this one siddhanta, and that is, for ghatajnanam to take place, for this knowledge that there is this pot in front of you, for this knowledge, for a simple knowledge to take place, all that you require is a healthy set of eyes and ample light in which that pot is there. When your eyes are going to meet the pot, the knowledge that this is pot is going to take place. And in this knowledge taking place, it is not under the control of the Purusha. It is not Purusha Tantra. Because the knowledge that this is a pot depends on the pot, it is Vastu Tantra, one. And it is only the Pramana Prameya Vyavahara. Your eyes are there, the pot is there, then whether you like it or not, the knowledge that this is a pot is bound to take place. And it does not demand whether you like, you don't like. Oh no, it is not going to wait for that. I don't like to see pots, but if it is there in front of you, you're going to see it. So this is what is. So knowledge, similarly, over here, if you have the Pramana, Mahavakyam, and this Brahma Vastu is Sakshara Parokshara Atma, this Atma alone is that. So it will not take time. All that you require is Pramana to allow that Pramana to function. So, but what is it that becomes an impediment for this Pramana to function is the Vasana. And therefore, now coming straight to the answer to this question as what is it that is withholding the enlightenment, and that is vasanas, and therefore this topic of vasana kshaya. Now, Yeah, we have very limited time, so I'm simply going to run through it. And, Puja Swamiji is there. Then maybe in any further questions and doubts, if you have, Puja Swamiji will be able to help us. Now, what is it that can be really called as vasana? So, Vidyaranya Swami says, Purvapara Paramarshmantarena Sahasotpadyamanasya Krodhadi Vritti Visheshasya Hetu Chittagata Sanskaraha Vasana. This is the definition of word vasana. That that which is able to what do they call um, you know prompt a reaction from you to any stimulus without any purvapara paramarsh, without any thought about its consequence or reasoning, without any logic and reaction, the cause of a reaction, and that reaction does not demand any reasoning, any kind of justification, but it simply comes out like the krodhadi vritti. Now, what is the cause of it? Hetuhu. The hetu of that, chittagata samskara. It is nothing but a latent impression in the mind. And that is what is called as vasana. Then somebody is going to question, that is okay. Then you simply could have called it as samskara. Why are you calling it as vasana? So he says, purvabhyasena chitte vasyamanatvat. Why is it called as vasana? Because it is staying. Vas means to stay. It is staying in the chitta through time immemorial because of its practice, abhyasavashat, that it has repetition, and that is what makes it stay over there. And so, since it is staying over there in the chitta, it is called as vasyamanatvat vasana iti. Right. So we now have some idea about what exactly can be called as vasana, from which one has to seek the freedom. And so, what is then further called as vasana kshaya, the gradual deterioration, annihilation of the vasana? So he says, viveka janyayam shanti dantyadi shuddha vasanayam dridhayam satyapi bahya nimitte krodhadi anutpattihi. Now, in order to remove these vasanas, what is it that is required? Is that you require yet another set of vasanas. Okay? It is like the antivenom. Okay? So, what is it? Viveka janyayam. But now that vasana which is there, which is going to nullify those vasanas which are an impediment. Huh? So how are those vasanas? They are called as Shuddha vasanas. And when the Shuddha vasanas really become your nature, Tridhayam, though there may be Bahya Nimitta, and there could be an external excuse under which a normal person's mind may react in a way of anger, frustration, so on and so forth, but that bahya nimitte satyapi krodhadi anutpatti, yet the mind refuses to produce a reaction like the krodha, etc. When this happens, it is called as vasana kshaya. Manonash tattvajnanayoho vasanakshaya karanatvam. Now, another thing that he draws our attention to over here is he says that vasanakshaya uh, has got this tattva jnanam as well as the samadhi abhyas. Both of them have got the hetutva, the quality of being the cause of vasana kshaya. How is it? Manonasha bhave vrittishu utpatyamanasu kadachit bahya nimittena krodhadi utpattehe nasti vasana kshaya. Say, suppose if one does not have the samadhi abhyas, then in that case, a person otherwise is going to be peaceful. But when some nimitta becomes present over there, some reason becomes present over there, then naturally the mind is going to react in a way wherein krodha, etc., is going to be your reaction. And therefore, if the mind is not equipped with samadhi, then what will happen? Well, the person otherwise is peaceful, but something happens and his dhairya then is broken. Yavanna tattvajnanam tavachitta shamakutaha. And therefore, in another place, sage Vasishtha advises Bhagavan Rama, and he says, as long as there is no tattvajnanam, as long as this knowledge, atmajnanam, is not taking place, shravana, manana, etc., is not there, tavachitta shamakutaha. How is it possible for mind even to become peaceful? And so, trayanam sampadane sadhanam aha. So, in order to accomplish all these three, now, sage Vasishtha says, Tasmad raghava yatnena paurushena vivekina kogecham duratas tyaktva trayametat samashraye. He Raghava, yatnena, paurushena yatnena, through your manly efforts, Puja Gurde would have said, but paurushena, by a person's efforts, do not say that when God wants, it will happen. No. Paurushena yatnena vivekina. A viveki person should, what should he do? He should give up the bhogecha, duratas tyaktva, trayam etat samashraye. And what should he take his refuge in? In these three. What are those three? Tattvajnanam, vasanakshaya, and manonasha. These are the three in which a person should take his refuge. This is what one should see as, every time you are disturbed, this is where you should run into. Tattvajnanam, vasanakshaya manonasha. Paurusho yatnaha. What do you mean by a person's efforts? It means kenapi upayena avashyam sampadayishyami ityevam vidhotsaha. The utsaha, the enthusiasm in a person, that no matter what, I shall accomplish it. Kenapi upayena, no matter what it takes, how long it may take, but I will accomplish it in my life. Kenapi upayena avashyam sampadayishyami ityevam vidhotsaha is called as the paurusha prayatnaha. Now, coming back, he brings us back to this topic as what can be called as this vasana. Dृढ़ भावनया त्यक्त पूर्वापर विचारणम यदादानम पदार्थस्य vasana sa prakirtita. Now, dृढ़ भावनया. Bhavanaya means through your own, feeling. Swamiji, can Swamiji please suggest me a right word for word bhavana?
Bhavana.
Yeah.
Bhavana, feeling, imagination, conceiving.
Okay. भाव्यं प्रति अनुकूल व्यापारः. That is bhavana, bhavyam prati anukula vyapara. Any which way. So this bhavana, the feeling, imagination, dृढ़ bhavanaya tyakta purvapara vicharanam. Now, because of this, something is taken as reality, and then one never makes an inquiry into what the reality could be. The world is there, and then, no, I see it, and that's why it is real. This kind of a statement and this kind of an insistence is nothing but just this vasana. Dृढ़ भावनया त्यक्त पूर्वापार vicharanam yadadanam padarthasya, and then to accept the padartha is this acceptance of padartha without any viveka is actually called as vasana. How does it work? Bhavitam tivra samvegat atmana yattadev saha bhavatyashu mahabaho vigatetar sanskritihi. Now that it is imagined with tivra samvega. Tivra samvega means with a force. It has its own velocity. Bhavitam tivra samvegat atmana yattadev saha. And then, since it is imagined by you that this fellow is my enemy, and then that he is really my enemy is what is accepted by you. And since he is my enemy, now I also become his enemy, and this is what you have become. Now this vasana has made you an enemy. Look at that. It has bred an enmity in you, animosity in you. He Mahabaho, Vigatetar Sanskriti. And now, no matter even if somebody is going to come and say, oh no, he said that by mistake, that is not what he meant. You have mistaken, you have, misunderstood. Now this person says, no, Vigatetar Sanskriti, all other sanskaras are immediately overpowered by this particular vasana. And how does it influence the person's viveka or his knowledge? Adrgarupo hi purushaha vasana vashikataha sampashyati yadevaitad sadvastu iti vimuhyati. Now that person's he sees the world through the colored vasanas, through those colored glasses. And vasana vivashikritaha, as if that vasana has held him an hostage. Vivashikritaha sampashyati yadevaitat sadvastu iti vimuhyati. And then what he sees now through those vasanas is only what he accepts as true. Even if his guru comes and says, oh, no, he says, no, nothing doing. That what I am seeing is true. Iti vimuhyati vasana vegavaivashat swarupam prajahati tat bhrantam pashyati durdrishtihi sarvam madavashativa. Just as a person who is under intoxication, now he is intoxicated and he is falling down, rolling in a gutter, and then he says, I'm in heaven, Swarga Sukha, I'm here, rolling in heaven. And like that, he sees vasana vegavaivashat, and that is what exactly happens even when one is under the influence of vasana. So what is the victim? Who becomes the victim in case when vasana takes over? The victim is our ability to think clearly. This is what is victimized. Okay, now we have to understand one more thing, that these vasanas, now how to have freedom from it. So there are two types of vasanas, and out of which one is called as the Shuddha Vasana and the other one is called as the Ashuddha Vasana. Whenever the Ashuddha Vasanas take over, the Shuddha Vasanas become helpless. But when the Shuddha Vasana is encouraged and cultivated in our life, then the Ashuddha Vasana eventually loses the ground. And that is why Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Daivi Sampad vimokshaya, bandhaya, surimata. These asuri vasanas, what do? They will do nothing but only create bondage. Bondage means they will make you suffer and suffer and suffer. That will be your only story. And what will the Daivi Vasana do? Daivi Sampad Vimokshaya. It will free your mind, your viveka from these clutches. And now, when the viveka is free, now this viveka will be able to do that discrimination between what is Sat and what is Asat, what is real and what is not, will also become very clear. And so, Vasana Dvividha Prokta Shuddha cha Malina Tatha Malina Janma Hetu Syat Shuddha Janma Vinashini. Vasana Dvividha Prokta. These are the two types of vasanas that have been said. Shuddha cha Malina Tatha. Shuddha and Malina Vasana. Malina Janma Hetu Syat. This Malina Vasana becomes the cause of bondage, means of Janma Hetu. That Janma means it implies what? Everything. Garbha Dukkham, Janma Dukkham, and Dukkham, and Dukkham, and Dukkham only. So Malina Janma Hetu Syat Shuddha Janma Vinashini. And what will the Shuddha Vasanas do? That will give freedom from suffering. Ajnana Sughanakara Ghanahankara Shalini Punarjanmakari Prokta Malina Vasana Budhaihi. The wise people have called this Vasana as Malina, not because they have some intense dislike towards it. It is called as Malina because Punarjanmakari Prokta, because it becomes a cause of Punarjanma. Have animosity, and then you will be born because of that. Have this greed, and that will make you take another birth, so on and so forth. And so, Ashyana Sukhanakara. How is it? It is nothing but it is composed of Ghana. Ghana means solid ignorance alone. Ashyana Sukhanakara Ghanahankara Shadini. And what is its nature? That nature of this Malina Vasana is Ahankara Shadini. Nothing but it has got only one story to tell, and the story of glorification of ego. Ghanahankara Shadini. That is it. Punarjanmankuram Tyaktva Sthitva Samprishta Bijavat Dehartham Dhriyate Jatajeya Shuddheti Chochyate. Punarjanmankuram Tyaktva. Now, what is the Shuddha Vasana? Wherein even the Ankura means the sprout of Punarjanma is given up. And what happens to the seed? Ignorance. Sambrishta Bijavat becomes like a roasted seed. Dehartham Dhriyate. And as long as the Deha is there, till then only to support the Deha. There will be that Vasana will only support the Deha in order to carry on its functions for the enlightened one of eating, drinking, and simple communication, etc., with the Shishyas, and so on and so forth. Jnatane Jnaya, wherein that what is Jnayam, Paramatma is known. And so now, Shuddha iti cha uchyate. This Vasana is called as Shuddha. Jnatashaya is a very interesting word. We have another few minutes, about 5 minutes. Prathamikasya bodhasya vicharajanyatvepi dirghakala nairantarya satkara bhavite tatve paschat vakya yukti paramarshamantarena purovarti ghatadivat sahasa tattvam parispurati tadrisha bodhanuvritya sahita indriya vyaparaha shuddha vasana. This is very nice. I will just try to give a synopsis of what it is. Now, when the Now, say, suppose if there is some ghatapatadi padarthas, they are in front of you, and in the morning when you open the eyes and there is some sunlight in the room, you immediately see all those things, ghatapatadi padarthas strewn across the room. So effortlessly. So that as much as that knowledge is taking place effortlessly, so also when the eyes open and you see the world, the idam sarvam paramatma alone, ha sarvam brahma iti, this knowledge becomes as spontaneous, as effortless, as like that before. Now, this parispurati tattvam sahasa tattvam parispurati ghatadivat. Tadrisha bodhanuvritya, and like that, indriya vyapara vyavahara takes place. Then the shishya comes, Maharaj ji chai lenge, hoga to de do, theek hai. So like that, Shuddha Vasana, where that Indriya Vyavahara takes place, along with there is no impediment to the Brahma Darshanam. That is called as Shuddha Vasana. Now, Malina Vasana is also of three types. Trividha: Lokavasana, Shastravasana, and Dehavasana. So, what is called as Lokavasana? Insistence that I shall, people should call me good and should appreciate me, should praise me, should hold me in respect all the time. Huh? And nobody should ever criticize me. Whether I'm wrong or right, that is not the question. But people should not criticize me. And that is this kind of a insistence which is there in us is nothing but this is called as Lokavasana. This vasana is malina. Why should it be called as malina? What is wrong in me saying that people should praise me? Is it not natural? He says it is malina because sampadayitum ashakyatva. Because this is an impossible task. And Vidyaranya Swami gives you an example of Bhagavati Sita. Now you look at this world. She is Jagdamba herself, and if she was not spared, what are you and me? Then when we say that, people should not criticize me and people should not talk ill of me, how is it not possible? Character of Sita is as it is pure, absolutely pure. And we have our own doshas. And then in spite of those doshas, we want to say nobody should criticize me and nobody should say. And so then that becomes an impossible sampadayitum ashakyatva. And therefore, vidyatena khalu kashchidupayaha sarvaloka paritoshakaro yaha sarvatha swahitam acharaniyam kim karishyati jano bahujalpaha. People are going to wag their tongues, and therefore, if you are going to wait for that, nothing is going to happen. If you are going to become victim of this lokavasana, no, spirituality becomes impossible. And therefore, what should a person do? Sarvatha swahitam acharaniyam. That what is your hita should be, hita means that what is beneficial, actually beneficial to you, should be followed in life. Ataha lokavasanayaha malinatvam abhipretya yogishwarasya tulya nindastutitvam moksha shastreshu varnitam. Just because this lokavasana is malina vasana, now he says, Vidyaranya Swami, that it is only because of this, keeping this as the point, Bhagavan Shri Krishna or every teacher now says that tulya nindastutitvam, that a person should be balanced, he should not lose the fulcrum of balance, even in situations of praise and censure. Tulya nindastutitvam moksha shastreshu varnitam. Furthermore, the next malina vasana is called as shastra vasana. But Swamiji, that is good. You are telling us. We, as it is, don't want to study. Now there is a difference between Shravanam and this Shastra Vasana. Okay. Ah. Now Shastra Vasana again is he categorizes as three. Patha Vyasanam, and it is called as Vyasanam by him. Better. Patha Vyasanam, Bahushastra Vyasanam, Anusthana Vyasanam. Patha Vyasanam means a person who simply lage hi raha hai, wants to study that I want to. Continuously I want to, continuously I want to. Are but then studying for what? No, 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 no. Don't ask me questions, I have no time. That is called as Patha Vyasanam. Then there is one katha in Taittiriya Brahmana. Swamiji, you must have heard this, right? Indra and Bharadwaj.
Mm-hmm.
And
please narrate. We don't know.
so it's a simple thing. So this Bharadwaj Rishi, all his three parts of the life, he is already just studying Veda, where he is studying. And then Indra comes to him one day and he said, Are, you have not studied this particular part of the Veda? And he is already 75. Three parts are already spent. He's 75. Then this Bharadwaj comes and says, Oh no, then you teach me. So Indra says, Okay, I will teach you. And that study does not finish. Finally, Indra tells him, Bharadwaj Rishi, now you do this Saguna Upasana. And thus he lifts him from there, from that habit, and places him in the Saguna Brahma Upasana. So thus there is this, we know from that Bharadwaja Katha that, Patha Vyasanam is also a Shastra Vasana. Then comes the second one, Bahushastra Vyasanam. Atyantika Purushartha Bhava, Bahushastra Vyasanasya Malinyam. Now, I want to be Bahushruta, well-read. One should be a well-read person. But after having read, what is the conclusion? What is the conclusion? It does not have any purushartha. It doesn't lead you to anywhere. And yet the person simply wants to carry this ego, the vanity of being well-read. And this book, I have it in my shelf. And that book, I have it in my shelf. Now, what will that shelf also do? Your head will also become one shelf like that, just storage. And so, no. Atyantika Purushartha Bhavad Bahushastra Vyasanasya Malinyam. Kavasheya Gitayam Durvasa Katha. Now, there is this one Kavasheya Gita. In that Katha comes of Durvasa. We have another 5 minutes. That of Durvasa. Swamiji, I will skip the question answer session, but I will complete this small little topic of Vasana prayers. Is it okay? With your permission?
Keep room for 2 questions.
Okay, Swamiji. Okay. So, in that Kavasheya Gita, this Durvasa goes to Kailasa, Bhagavan Shankar, and he is carrying a cartload of books. He brings a lot of books with him to Kailasa. Then Narad Muni sees, and in Darbar of Bhagavan Shankar, what you are displaying your scholarship. So Narada scolds him. What nonsense is this? And so now this Durvasa, Durvasa gets angry. And then what does he do with that frustration? Takes all the books and drowns them in the sea. Then Bhagavan Shankar pacifies him and instructs him in the Moksha Shastra, in the Upadesha. He gives him that Upadesha. So, Atyantika Purushartha Bhavat Bahushastra Vyasanasya Malinyam. It is good for a person to be well read, well informed, but where is your information finally taking you? What is the conclusion of that? Is it leading you into the understanding of Atma is Brahman anywhere or not? Or is it simply collecting information, collecting information? What collecting information? Are you some computer or what? So therefore, Atyant, computer can keep more information than us, but computer cannot have the Atyantika Purushartha. This Purushartha is alone. That is what you truly can have. And therefore, in this topic, Vidyaranya Swami has one very nice line, the sentence that he has said. He says, Atma Vidyacha Antarmukhasya Guru Karunya Rahitasya Veda Shastra Matrena Na Utpatyate. Nice, right? Swami, very nice.
Sure.
He says, Atma Vidya. Now, to whom will this Atma Vidya, in whom will this Atma Vidya fructify? Antarmukhasya. So he who is not an Antarmukha, Guru Karuna Karunya Rahitasya, and then just because he is a scholar, this Atma Vidya will not take place. So Antarmukhasya Guru Karunya Rahitasya Veda Shastra Matrena Na Utpatyate. Adhitya Chaturo Vedan Dharma Shastranyekashaha Brahma Tattvam Na Janati Darvipaka Rasam Yatha. Just as a ladle in the pot of a porridge, kheer, if that ladle will stay over there, dip up to its, handle, but it will not know how tasty that kheer is, porridge is. Like that, a person may stay dipped into this Veda Shastra and he can become a scholar and make great, arguments and things like that. Yet, Brahma Tattvam na janati, he will not know Paramatma, and that is what is what do they say, irony of his life. And so, Deha Vasana is the third Vasana. This Deha Vasana, now we all know, again is threefold, wherein Atmatvam, Gunadhanam, Doshapanayanam. These are the three things which come under the Deha Vasana. Atmatvam means this Deha, this body, this physical body. I'm a man, I'm a woman, and then the pride of it. That is Atmatvam in this Deha. And Gunadhanam. Then since I'm a woman, since I'm a man, how nice I am, how beautiful I am the only Farishta, some fairy over here. What do they call it? Apsara. Like that, nymph of the heaven, I have landed on this earth. And so behaving like that, and this person also feels that I am some Gandharva from Gandharva Loka, come down. Gunadhanam. And with reference to what? To the physical body. Okay? And doshapanayana. And then even if one finds there are some doshas, immediately powder and all that, done, clean, nice. Oh, very nice. If nothing, at least we have Photoshop to do that. We have all that. Okay. Vidyaranya Swami, finally over here, when he talks about the Deha Buddhi and Deha Vasana, he says, Swadeha Shuchigandhena na viracheta yafkuman vairagya karanam tasya kimanyad upadishyate. He who is not able to withdraw just by looking at the foul odor that our own body gives. Swadeha Shuchigandhena Ashuchigandha. It is not some tulsi and camphor smell that your body is emitting. No. Swadeha Ashuchigandhena na virajeta yafkuman vairagya karanam tasya. Now, what other vairagya karanam should be given to him? Should be upadishyate, kimanyat upadishyate. So these are the Malina Vasanas, and these Malina Vasanas will be overcome only when we have Daivi Satgunas in our life. So now we know that what is the meaning of vāsanā, which kind of vāsanas are called as an impediment, and but I have only indicated that by cultivating the sadgunas means the daivi sampat. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, which he says in the 16th chapter, all those sadgunas, good qualities, noble qualities, when they are cultivated, not so that people will appreciate us. Again, if these are that Daivi Sampana is meant for winning some appreciation and praise from people, it will become Asuri Sampat only. Because it is Malina Vasana, it will become Loka Vasana. But just because Bhagavan wants it that way, Guru has told, that's why it is there. So when those vasanas, Daivi vasanas, Satgunas become your natural, what do they call, way of thinking, responding, then these vasanas no longer are able to hold the knowledge as a in ransom. No, it will be released. So vasana kshaya. So first of all, tattvajnanam, vasana kshaya, and manonasha. These are the three sadhanas for Jivanmukti viveka. All right, I suppose this is what I had to say. Now, Puja Swamiji has said there is questions, but little time only for one or two questions, if there be any.
I have a comment to make.
Yes, Swamiji,
After this webinar, all the participants have now more webinar vasana than before.
Swamiji, on the chat box, there is one comment.
Okay. You talked about pursuing and surprised by that. I thought more not of pursuing than understanding. Pursuit means purushartha. The word purushartha means purushena arthate iti purushartha. That what is sought by a person. And that seeking means pursuing. So it's fine, it's okay. There's nothing wrong about it. It's legitimate in life.
And then the second para also is there.
Kya hai?
Answer to understanding.
Answer to understanding is Mahavakyam. Aham Brahmasmi. Instead of pursuing, drop Aham and Asmi. You are left with Brahman alone. I like all the sentences, they're nice.
Mr. Ravindramurti would like to ask a question.
Yes, please.
He has raised his hand.
Pranam Swamiji and pranams to all. Swamiji, in the ultimate culmination of the knowledge, when you take the standpoint that you transcend the individual as well as the vasanas, whether it is a Shuddha Vasana or a Shuddha Vasana, why is there a need to engage in this Vasana Kshaya? Because once the individual himself is dissolved, who is the one who will engage in this Vasana Kshaya, especially having cognized they don't belong to my true Swarupa?
Yeah, you're talking about somebody who has already transcended.
But in knowledge, we do transcend, don't we?
You transcend all the vasanas in deep sleep.
But in knowledge, we rise to that because
Correct, exactly. This is the reason. In order for knowledge to take place, look at that. Vidyaranya Swami says there are two reasons. Now, if you look at Bhagavan Shri Krishna uses the word sthita prajna, which means prajna has taken place And if the prajna has taken place and if it is not sthira, can the person be called as sthita prajna?
The problem is the reactions, the thoughts, the various feelings, the various things, they are all strictly impersonal activity. It is not happening at an individual. It is all coming from the source, the vasanas, the thoughts, the various reactions that the body may be experiencing. It is purely an impersonal activity that carries on.
So he who is able to see like that, for him, this is not the topic at all. He who is able to see this is not implied. This does not have any implication for such a person.
Thank you, Swamiji.
There are different adhikaris, no? Adhikari means there are different people and they will understand the truth, the same thing, but they will have to undergo different processes. So we should be able to create that space wherein everybody can be accommodated. All right. I suppose 2 questions, we are done. Puja Swamiji?
There is one
Yes.
more checkbox.
Okay. Clarity of impediments was understandable. We have to strive well at it. Of course, goes without saying. Of course, goes without saying. Purusha Prayat, he said, na Paurushena Yatnena. But he said so. Paurushena Yatnena. Hey Raghava, and this was not an advice given to somebody just ordinarily like you and me. He's talking to Raghava. We have to understand that. So Paurushena Prayat. Yes, you are correct, Malpiji. All right. Can we call it a day here? Puja Swamiji?
All
right.
I have something to say.
Ji Swamiji,
But
please.
you need not answer in this session. Next time you present a webinar
Okay, Swamiji.
For us, please let us know whether AI, artificial intelligence, can help us in elimination of vasanas faster than before. Please answer next time, okay?
Ji Swamiji. Yes, sure.
We are looking up to AI for all solutions now.
Oh, yes,
so maybe
yes,
this
yes.
vasana elimination also will take help of AI. Maybe we can
I was listening to Yuval and
Yuval Harari.
Yuval Harari. Oh, I mean, such amazing thing. Anyways. All right. So thank you, Puja Swamiji, Vibhaji, and all of you. Good night to you all. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming and enlightening us with what are the impediments of the enlightenment. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the session.
Thank you.
Hari Om
Hari
Swamiji.
Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji. Pranam. Thank
Hari
you.
Om Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Good night to all in India. Good day to all in the West. And whatever time of the day it is, a good time to all others in the middle.